Hey, GenderqueerChat viewers, Christina here on Wednesday for GenderqueerChat, obviously. So, the topic this week is what are some misconceptions about genderqueers? And I really can't say a whole lot that hasn't been said already this week. Mainly that genderqueer people, not many people know about genderqueer people. So there's that. There's really not much to say. Um, One thing, well, starting off, obviously, when you hear the word genderqueer, as Joe and Stacy have mentioned, you get the terms of gender and sex and sexual orientation mixed up. And I mean, as Joe stated, I mean, when you hear genderqueer, it's like you hear the word queer and you assume it's something to do with sexual orientation, which isn't the case. I mean, it is, it is a part of the LGBT community, right? Because we're underneath the trans umbrella. Um, so, yeah, I mean, the LGBT community, that's gender and sexual minorities, right? So it's kind of lumped together in that sense. So it can be confusing for some people. Um, yeah, so I mean, you got to keep in mind there's gay FTMs, there's lesbian MTFs, there's like a whole whack of different people who you know gender and sexual orientation obviously are two very different things. But if you're watching that, you probably realize that if you're watching this. So, something I was going to bring up was another misconception that I think that I see sometimes is that more genderqueer people, and this is true to a certain extent, it seems to be true to a certain extent, but that the majority of genderqueer people are female assigned at birth, so such as myself, and well, certain number of people on this channel, and yeah, I mean, you kind of see that more often, but yeah, I mean, those who know what genderqueer is, kind of may lean towards thinking that when obviously there are many male assigned at birth genderqueer people as well. So you have to keep that in mind. And again, something that was already mentioned, of course, is gender expression, and that even if you look cis, if you look if I were to look stereotypically female, it doesn't mean that I'm not genderqueer, obviously, because gender expression can be different from your actual internal gender. So that's a choice that each one of us makes. So whichever. So as with any misconceptions, I mean it's a lack of education, but especially with learning about genderqueer people, it's a lack of there's no information. Well, there's not no information about it, but a lot of people just don't know what genderqueer is, right? As I stated. So a lot of misconceptions about genderqueer people would be like, I mean, as Joe mentioned her mother, like you just have the language, you just get confused and you don't fully grasp it. My dad is like that too, where I try to explain to him that I'm genderqueer, and sometimes he just thinks that I want to be a guy, and sometimes I don't know. It just gets not not. He doesn't fully understand it, obviously, because as was stated previously this week by Stacy, it's so many people are just focused on the gender binary and think that that's all that there is, and that sort of thing. And another, if you want to call it misconception, not really so much a misconception, but thought about genderqueers that is very wrong, is some people and I hate to bring this up, but some people don't consider it to be a valid identity, and some people just believe in in transgender people, in binary transgender people, but they don't consider genderqueer people to be a valid gender identity. So there's that too, unfortunately. And a lot of that, unfortunately, no, maybe not a lot, but some of it really is from the queer community themselves, and even from binary trans people themselves. To I mean, it goes back to like back in the day when there were gay people fighting for gay rights, and then there were more extreme gay people, meaning they looked and acted very flamboyant and so on and so forth, and didn't look like other straight people. And gay people were like, hey, and this was like in the 50s, right? And gay people were like, we can fight for gay rights, but we have to look like straight people because then we'll be accepted easier. And maybe that's the thought of some binary trans people. Not obviously, not all. I don't think most binary trans people are like this, but there are some out there who don't accept the idea of being genderqueer, and for whatever reason, could be a reason like that it's so far out there that I don't know, for whatever reason they can't wrap their mind around it. And another one I thought of that may exist. Perhaps some people think that genderqueer is like a young people thing, but obviously that's not true. I don't know, just a thought. But anyways, that's about all that I can say on misconceptions of genderqueer people. The bonus question this week is, if you could time travel, where would you go and why? And Joe and Stacy so far have picked really like ancient times, which would be cool. That would be cool. But I don't know, I feel like if I were to time travel, there's like some specific places that I'd want to see. Like I'd want to see how my dad grew up in the 50s and 60s. I think that'd be awesome. I'd want to go back to like specific years of my life that I really liked, and just be back in that era and like at this age. Like I wouldn't. I mean, it's it's good to be a kid again, but I mean, I actually liked those eras, like the 90s and early 2000s and that sort of thing. So, just to relive it as an adult would be fun. What else? That's about it. I mean, it would be cool to go back in time and to really ancient times, because that would be fascinating. The issue with that is that it would be not something that I'd want to do for a very long time, because I don't know how to hunt and gather, and I wouldn't be able to communicate with these people. So that would be a little bit of an issue. Yeah. So that's about it for this week, and I will see you guys next week.